Humanity has built an engine that uses that fuel in its most powerful form. But now we are forced to ask, how far can it take us?
Fire made us human in the past few hundred years, and fossil fuels made us modern. And now we burn each year in the world 19 cubic kilometers of these rotted remains of primeval swamp goo. The fossil fuels have created our wealth. They've really created our civilization. They have enriched the lives of billions of people. But they have rising costs to our security, economy, and environment that are eroding, if not outweighing, their benefits. That's why we need a new fire that makes us safe, secure, healthy, and durable.
You have to look at the scale of our energy supply system. It's huge. It's been built up over more than a century. You're not going to quickly replace it. The amount of investment that would be required would be fantastic.
Oil is very unique. It's very dense. It's easy to store. It's easy to move around the world. If you project the amount of energy that's in a barrel of oil, that's about 6 billion joules of energy. And if you translate that into, how much work would that be for a human being to generate that much energy? I think it works out to in the order of 6 years. And if you had that person paid at US minimum wage, that barrel of oil would be worth, something like $140,000. That's how concentrated and valuable and useful oil is.
The fossil fuel engine shaped the technology and landscapes of the 20th century. It gave us the power to gain more power, to harness rivers, to wage new kinds of war. To unleash the energy of the atom.
Energy is the master resource.
That resource is provided via a system that wraps around Spaceship Earth.
We're burning 88 million barrels of oil per day. That's the rate of supply that's required to run society.
Fossil fuels also involve huge flows of money. The oil money often fuels tyranny, instability, and corruption. It is behind many of the conflicts in the world. We actually pay about 10 times more to sustain military forces meant to intervene in the Persian Gulf than we pay to buy oil from the Persian Gulf. This is obviously crazy. But it is an addiction we have fallen into and need to cure ourselves of.
If the ability to grow oil supply ceases, and that's likely to happen sometime before 2020, the geopolitical issues will only accelerate. So if we don't do anything, the prognosis is not particularly bright. I mean, for the economy, for geopolitical disruptions, for wars, for actual physical shortages.
So all of these unconventional energy sources, I do think that they'll grow rapidly, partly because a lot of the easy oil and gas is already gone. Now we have to go after these other harder sources if we want to keep the oil and gas flowing.
As the engine runs short on fuel, its pollution and violence is backing up into Western society. Nowhere is that more obvious than in domestic fights about fracking.
The natural gas and oil is found very deep under the ground. And in order to bring that oil and gas up to the surface, they drill horizontally, in many cases a couple of kilometers, and then they do the hydraulic fracturing. They open cracks up in the rock. But one of the things that makes it especially hard in the United States is that the people living on the land don't necessarily own the oil and gas below it. So we have people who own the property, may have lived in a house or on a ranch or on a farm for 20, 30, or 40 years, don't own the mineral rights. In many cases don't know that they don't own the mineral rights, and then someone else comes in and puts drilling on their property.
Yes, you have different opinions. When they heard they were coming in, a number of people are excited because most of the people have leased their land. So I would say over 90% in our county are leased. So they're encouraged to get royalties, so they're looking forward to that. So they're hoping to get some extra money. And a lot of people need money. They're in difficult situations with the economy. So they don't think about what it could mean. So for them, it's just, I'm going to get extra money. And then there's others, like myself, who are very concerned about the industrialization and the contamination.
The well is back here. December 6, 2011. We noticed it was erupting and our water turned dark gray. So the DEP came out and tested our water. The first test, the results were 38.9 milligrams per liter of methane in our water. They came back out a couple months later and retested. It had gone up to 58.4 milligrams per liter. That's in our water.
It's real funny that we had wells drilled on both sides of us, and next thing you know, we got problems problems that weren't there before, you know.
It's very controversial in our area. They drive neighbors against neighbors. People that normally wouldn't hate you because you have water problems now. And
my other half, she got all pissed off with me because I was fighting with them all the time. I was like, you know something? I'm trying to protect what we own from being destroyed. We already lost the water. And she was mad because I was constantly fighting with them. Her thing was, just lay down and be a good little gas whore. And it's like, no. So she walked out on me because of all the fighting. Other neighbors over here, they got divorced over the fighting. Neighbors over here got divorced over the fighting. And then you have neighbors pissed off because you got signs in your yard, you're fighting the industry. You have other ones that from the town, well, there's nothing wrong with our water. Well, thank God for you, you don't have a problem. But over here, we do.
Despite all of the wealth that they have created and convenience that they offer, fossil fuels are becoming quite threatening to our way of life.
é o que eu digo de uma crise civilizatória. E uma crise civilizatória não tem como ser enfrentada a não ser por todos. Uma mobilização de todo o tecido social na forma não apenas de um questionamento à nossa maneira inadequada de fazer as coisas, mas, sobretudo, um questionamento de natureza mais profunda à nossa forma inadequada de ser. É disso que se trata, e isso é válido para o Brasil, para o Japão, para Altamira ou para Nova York.